If you work out regularly, but you still feel kind of weak or soft, you've got low energy, soft midsection, aches and pains, no real momentum per se in your health or your fitness or your progression, it's because your approach is all wrong. Most dads or men in general are training like they're, you know, 18-year-old single men. They're all the wrong workouts, the wrong level of intensity, approaching recovery all wrong, and then not having plans that survive the real things of life. I mean, there's so many reasons why guys are not seeing progress in their health and fitness. So I'm going to show you 7 habits that are keeping you softer than you want and struggling to get to the level of fitness that you desire. And then the simple fixes that actually work for busy guys. Okay? So the first one, random workouts and no progression. This is a big one for a lot of guys. We either go one of two routes. We apply ourselves to an app or a workout program or something from some kind of influencer that's totally ill-fitting, or we go the other route, which is probably more common, is I just go into the gym and I piddle around and I do a little bit here and bench press there and squats there, and oh, I haven't done that in a week, I don't think, so maybe I'll do some more of that, and we just don't have a structure, and our body needs overload and progression. It needs to do the same thing periodically for a set period of time, with consistent overload, more and more weight, more and more reps over the course of a period of time so it can adapt and it can get stronger. So if we're constantly like changing things and moving around and we don't have structure or order to the way that we do it, we're not likely going to see a lot of results at all. Now, the old adage of like muscle confusion, it's just ignore that. That's not something you need to be thinking about at all. My recommendation here is that you have kind of 4 patterns that you are looking at. You're looking at a squat, a hinge, a push, and a pull, and you're doing those key things on a regular basis. So that would be squat, deadlift, a pull up or a barbell row, and a bench press or an incline press or a shoulder press. And those those things need to be set in a progressive pattern so that you can do more and more of them each and every week over the course of 12 to 16 weeks before you make changes. That is going to elicit some incredible strength gains, muscle gains, fat loss as an additional bonus. Just continue on that track. Don't change everything all the time. That's not going to help you actually get results faster. It's going to frustrate you more and more. The second thing that people do is they add way too much intensity and not enough base. And so if you are maxing out on a regular basis, if you are going to utter failure, if you are doing these drop sets on a regular basis where you do heavier weight, then drop immediately, then drop some more, and you just keep hammering out reps, you are going to shock your central nervous system in a way where it struggles more and more and more to recover. Intensity all the time is not effective. We need consistency, but not necessarily intensity. So you need to strategically plan your levels of intensity with your levels of kind of baseline. And baseline doesn't mean easy, it doesn't mean simple. It's still hard and it's a very challenging workout, but you should not go to your max capacity all the time. That's not helpful. And so what we should do is we should have 3 strength days probably for the average father, adult man with kids. You should have 3 strength days, and you should do a lot of walking. That would be a good baseline. We have a push-pull legs day, we do 8,000 to 15,000 steps a day, and you start, doing other things. That would be an ideal level of intensity, especially for someone who's not an elite athlete or hasn't been training for 5, 10, 15, 20 years. Just go and get the workouts in, have a progressive overload, and get a lot of other movement throughout the day. The third thing that is a trip up for a lot of guys is time fantasy programming, is what I call it. Time fantasy programming is like, oh, I'm going to do all these things. I'm going to pick all the stuff and I'm going to get it done. And it's going to take me 90 minutes 6 times a week. Yeah, that's a fantasy if you have children. And so, what you need to do is design something that's oriented around your current season of life and your schedule and all of that. And then you need what I would call a fallback plan. You need something that is like so simple. that if all hell breaks loose and you can't do any of your workouts as planned, you can at least do this, because I have not met a guy, the highest level CEOs and wealthiest people in the world, all the way down to the busiest manual laborer for chump change, who doesn't have at least 15 minutes 3 times a week to do exercise. And if you don't, you have much, much, much bigger problems than your health, I would say. And so you need to have a set program, probably 3 days a week, maybe 5 days a week at most. You need to be idealistic, or realistic, excuse me, not idealistic about this, so that your workouts are 20, 30, 45 minutes max. You can ensure that you can get them done. And if you can get them done at home, that's 10 times better. And then you need a fallback framework. You need something to where when crap hits the fan, I will at least get this 15-minute body weight circuit that doesn't require shoes, that doesn't require bands, that doesn't require dumbbells. I can do it anywhere. So no matter what kind of hits the fan, I can still get a workout in. That's the framework. You need to not be time fantasy with your programming. The next thing that people run into is they're just radically under eating protein. People who eat protein, I was just on a call this morning and the guy was like, "Hey, for 15 years, I haven't been able to manage my energy. And I just made a massive change where I'm prioritizing protein, trying to eat, I don't remember if he said a gram per pound per day or whatever, but I'm not hungry for other things. My energy levels have normalized. My cravings have been gone. I had headaches for 4 days because I wasn't eating sugar, and I didn't even realize I wasn't eating sugar because I was so satisfied and satiated by the protein. And now I feel better than I have in 15 years. I'm like, it's just protein. Every guy should be doing this. Prioritize it. And so every single meal should prioritize protein, and you should be eating the same on off days as you are on days, just as a bonus to throw that out there. The next thing that trips us up is sleep debt as a normal thing. The average American is sleeping so much less than they should. And we are chronically high in cortisol. Our hormones are all out of whack. So we have cravings, and we're not, satiated by food like we should be, because all of our hunger and fullness signaling is all completely thrown off because of sleep. And your metabolic rate is jacked up, your hormones are jacked up, and you just are sucking through the day. You can't put out the input and the energy to do your workouts at a way that is really effective for your fitness level because you're just not sleeping well. Remember, when you lift heavy weight, your central nervous system is taking a load. Now, the thing that rests the most and gets the most recovery at night while you sleep is your brain and your central nervous system. And if you're not sleeping, you're not going to be able to sustain heavy loads. You're not going to be able to lift as much as your body is actually able to lift. And because your body's not actually lifting as much as it's able to, it's not stimulating the growth and the changes that it should. It's just kind of staying the same. And so we need to get more rest and more sleep. The second to last thing is sitting all day and expecting your workouts to undo it. We think that 45 minutes in the gym is going to undo 10 hours of sitting every single day. And so our posture, our metabolic rate, all that stuff is not going to be fixed with one workout after 10 hours of sitting. So you need to move more. You need to take more walking calls. You need to take more Zoom calls on the phone if you can and go walk the neighborhood. You should be walking with your family in the evening. That's a great practice. Go on a prayer walk, walk with your family, enjoy the outdoors. Don't care if it's raining, put on a jacket with a hood. We need to reject comfort. I just did a video on that if you want to see that here. And so these are things that we should do more of outside of our workouts, because 45 minutes is not enough. We need to raise our movement floor. So you could do those walking calls, you could do calf raises while you're sitting, you could do 5-minute workout snacks, I call it. You get down and you do some push-ups and sit-ups and squats. There's lots of ways to increase the level of movement that you are doing. And so stop thinking that that's enough to overcome all of the health implications of sitting all day. And then probably one of the worst things that I've seen is what I would say is ego lifting, but maybe not always ego lifting. Maybe it's just a lack of wisdom in how we're lifting. But there's this injury carousel that happens. I start off good. I work out for, 2 or 3 months. I get injured. I'm out and I kind of recover and I go back. And this happens all through adulthood because our bodies, they do have muscle memory, especially if you were an athlete before. Your muscles may actually be more capable than your tendons are at withstanding the pressure and the strain. And so you can easily get stronger faster in your muscles, but the tendons that hold those muscles to the bone are not actually as strong as they should be. They get less blood flow and it takes a lot longer for them to grow and condition. And so you need to be aware that you might outgrow your strength beyond what your tendons can hold. So ego lifting should be out. You should have really great recovery, better sleep, you need to care for your body so that you don't end up in this regular cycle of injury and starting over, which many dads do. And it prevents them from making any meaningful progress in their health because they're just constantly getting derailed. So, these are the biggest areas that are stealing from you when it comes to trying to get healthy as a father. If you are interested in fat loss primarily, I did an entire masterclass type video on my framework for how to think about fat loss, what to do, how to measure everything, how to determine all the caloric intake, all the percentages of everything, and you can see that video here. Otherwise, if you want to take the fatherhood strength assessment and just get a sense of where are we at and how is this going and what are my, biggest roadblocks right now and how do I have a 8-week plan to overcome them, you can take that assessment in the description below and you'll get a free copy of my Amazon best-selling book, The Daily 15, as a thank you for taking that and allow you to get started on that framework as well. So I hope this is helpful and I'll see you in the next video.